Hello everyone, this is Kiran Nath. I welcome you all to my channel Learn with EKL. So today we are again back with a new topic again from general physiology and a very main topic uh, very often asked in exam, that is apoptosis. Okay, what is apoptosis? Why is it so important? See, apoptosis by definition we can say that it's a suicidal programmed cell death. What do you mean by a suicidal programmable cell death? See, normally we have hundreds of trillions of cells in our body, in which we know that uh, abundantly and continuously there will be cell divisions going on. So in that, only if the cells are increased, there must be also a way that when the cell reaches a senescent phase or some duration of its death time, for example, RBCs have a lifespan of 120 days, and every cell has their own lifespan. So when that happens, every cell has to die. So how does this happen? So we have apoptosis, necrosis, autophagy, and here we are talking about apoptosis. Necrosis is by itself the cell increases its size, but here in apoptosis the cell shrinks. Cell shrinks, and what happens? It condenses and it disassembles its cytoskeleton. Okay, and then at last what happens? It does nothing. Remember this is the main step, that it alters its cell surface such that the phagocytic cell, which are the main phagocytic cell? Macrophage. There are the phagocytic cell, that is macrophage, can attach to the cell membrane, okay, and digest it. So this is one of the common mechanisms, okay, but mainly there are mainly two mechanisms of apoptosis. What is that? Apoptosis mainly happens with two mechanisms. One is extrinsic and another one is intrinsic. Okay, before dealing with this, let us see where is the applications of apoptosis. See, if we come for apart from humans, we would have all seen that tadpole turning into frog. So what happens to the tail of the tadpole? It gets resorbed, right? Even that is an example of apoptosis. But as we are studying MBBS, so we need to study about humans. So let us forget about the metamorphosis of the frog. Let us go to the apoptosis in humans. See, apoptosis is normally asked for 5 marks question, and just by writing the mechanism, I don't think any college would give marks or any university would give marks. So apoptosis has few examples. Has many, but let us discuss few here. See, when the fetus is growing, there will be web between the fingers. For example, consider this as the finger. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at handed drawing. Consider this as the finger, hand finger. Okay, so there will be webs formation between the fingers in the growing fetus. Okay, so this web formation should be removed, and this happens by apoptosis. So first thing is removal of tissue web formation between fingers and toes both of the fetus. Okay, of the fetus is very important here. Many people forget to mention it in the exam, and they may lose half marks. And the main thing many would have guessed also, removal or periodic sloughing of endometrium at the time of menstruation. These are all very programmed way of cell deaths, which occurs periodically. So now you can understand the definition, right? Suicidal, okay, and a programmed cell death, very well planned, okay, at the time of menstruation. And what else it may be? So we all know that immune cells create their clones. So this has to be periodically removed, because if there is abundant clones of immune cells present irrelevantly in the body, you all know what will happen to it. We all know the autoimmune disorders, right? It may be myasthenia gravis, rheumatoid arthritis. So to remove all those consequences, removal of clones of immune cells. And this sentence are very important after this, which are not appropriate. See, physiology is mostly all about not just writing the answers, but writing the correct answers. Like for example, see, here we said that of the fetus. In the tension of the exams, we just forget to mention the main thing, and removal of clones of immune cells, which are not appropriate. These lines as such are very important. So for these three, and now let us look at the mechanism of apoptosis. So as I said, first let us look at, what do you say, intrinsic mechanism of apoptosis. So what is intrinsic mechanism? As I explain, you will get to know what is why is it called as intrinsic and why is it called as extrinsic. Nothing, it's just simple that intrinsic is some mechanism that happens inside the cell, that is mainly mitochondria. And extrinsic cells involves extensive factors like tumor necrotic factor, and we have apoptosis signal activating this mechanism. So coming back to the intrinsic apoptosis, we have to look at three major proteins. That is BCL2. One is BCL2, which is on the outer membrane of mitochondria. Okay, this BCL2 protein receptor will be present on the outer membrane of mitochondria. This is one, and the second is BAX. Okay, this is the second protein. It is a related protein which helps in migrating. It migrates to the mitochondrial membrane. I'll just explain to you while I explain the steps of the mechanism, the intrinsic mechanism. And the third protein is APAF1. What is its full form? Apoptotic protease activating factor 1. Okay, so how does this mechanism occur? First, outer membrane, as I said, outer membrane of mitochondria have receptor for BCL2 protein. Okay, what is the function of this BCL2 protein? Its main function is inhibition of apoptosis. Okay, its main function is inhibition of apoptosis. So outer membrane of mitochondria have receptor for BCL2 protein. So the main intention when program cell death is that to block this BCL2 protein so that apoptosis occurs, because it inhibits the apoptosis. So as I said, there is a BAX protein. This BAX protein migrates to the surface of mitochondria. Okay, mitochondria, and creates, first it creates two things. One, inhibits BCL2 protein. Okay, and next it creates holes on the what? Outer membrane of mitochondria. Outer membrane of mitochondria. So what happens once the hole is created? Once the hole is created, cytochrome C, which is present in mitochondria, starts leaking. Okay, and once this leaks, this cytochrome C, which is the next protein we were talking about, the third protein, that is APAF1, apoptotic protease activating factor 1. This cytochrome C binds to APAF1, and what happens? So this, see, intrinsic mechanism of apoptosis is also called as proteolytic activation of cascade. Okay, it is also called as proteolytic activation of cascade. Why is it called so? Now let us see. Because this APAF1, once cytochrome C binds to it, it forms apoptosomes, called as apoptosomes. Okay, so you have to remember few names here. That is very easy. See, apoptosis is the name where you can remember apoptosomes, apoptotic bodies, apoptotic protease activating factor. Okay, apoptosomes. This binds to caspase 9. Okay, have to remember this. This first binds to caspase 9, and this caspase 9 in turn activates two other caspases, that is caspases 4 and 7, and this finally leads to proteolytic activity leads to digestion of structural protein where in the cytoplasm and which in turn leads to phagocytosis of cell. Okay, so this is the intrinsic factor. Okay, now coming to the extrinsic is very simple, not very complicated as extrinsic mechanism. So what does extrinsic mechanism do? See, as I said, here you have to remember two proteins, not proteins, signals, FAS, that is first apoptotic signal and second TNF, that is tumor necrotic factor. See, these two proteins, once they are released, primarily we have to remember that these two proteins are integral membrane proteins. Okay, this may be your MCQ question. TNF and first apoptotic signal, these are integral membrane proteins. Okay, these are death activating, these are death activators. What do? Once they are released, they release or they transmit signal to the cytoplasm to activate caspase 8. Okay, what happened in the intrinsic mechanism? Caspase 9 was activated, right? What happened here? Caspase 9 was activated. What is happening here? Caspase 8 is getting activated. So this caspase 8, once activated, initiates phagocytosis, and which leads to cell death. So this is how it completely activates the cell death. And what the main question sometimes asked for 3 marks is difference between necrosis and apoptosis, right? What is it? See, first and major difference between necrosis and apoptosis is, in necrosis cell swells. Okay, here cell shrinks. Why? Here cell shrinks because we see that there is disassemble of cytoskeleton, and here there is inflammation in necrosis. Okay, here there is nothing like inflammation happening or anything else, just that as we saw that there is a intrinsic and extrinsic mechanism that shrinks the cell by activating caspase mechanisms. Here, what is necrosis? Necrosis is not a programmed cell death, but it occurs due to cell metabolism defects. Okay, but here it's a programmed mechanism. So this is what the main thing you have to understand between necrosis and apoptosis. But if you want to write exam point of view, you have to obviously write 2 or 3 more points regarding the same. So this is about the apoptosis for today. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked and if you think that you learned something from this video, please like and subscribe the channel, and wait for some more contents which I'll be uploading every once in 3 days. Thank you.